Nottingham Radio, Golf Bravo Charlie Papa November, request radio check and airfield information.
Papa November, readability 5, runway news 27, left-hand circuit, QNH 1026.
27 left hand, 1026, Golf
So I'm
Papa
the captain
November.
of the aircraft. If there's any issues, I'll take control. If I've got an engine failure on the takeoff run, I'll try and stop it on the runway. If I can't get it stopped on the runway, I'll choose a field, 30 degrees left or right of the nose. Left today, probably.
Okay.
Any other issue, I should have power. I'll take it to altitude and I'll look at my checklist and take my time over it. No real issue. Any questions?
No.
Okay. Any questions in the back?
No.
Okay, marvellous. Let's go flying. Golf Romeo Charlie, ready for departure.
Green light and variable.
Golf Romeo Charlie, backtracking. So I don't think we need to say backtracking really, do we? It's a bit redundant. But I've said it twice today, so I'm obviously getting the feeling today it's the thing to say. Right, so I'm going to start off by demonstrating a circuit.
Okay.
And then once we're airborne again, we'll do 2 more circuits and I'll give you some bits to look at in the circuit. Yeah?
Okay, that's good.
See how you get on. Right, so first thing, I'm taxiing down one side of the runway, leaving the other side clear if someone should choose to appear from nowhere and want to use it. And also it positions me here, so I'm going to do a bit of a teardrop. So I'm going to start my turn to the right slightly, so that when I then swing around to the left, I end up on the centre line. And as I come around to the left, I'm gauging it so I roll out on the centre line, or where it says 27, and then it's all looking nice. And that's a useful picture to remember in its own right, because that is 3-wheel landing, yeah?
Yeah.
So if we want to get a 2-wheel landing, we need the nose slightly higher than that, yeah?
Okay.
So for me, there's a fistful of earth there. I'd probably say you probably need 3 fingers.
Yes.
Nottingham Radio,
a 2-wheel landing.
Golf Papa
27, it says 27 on here, 27 on here. Wind is from the right, but light.
News 27, left
Follow me
hand,
through on the
QFE
controls.
1022.
Right, full power.
022, Golf
I'm just letting it roll. Yep.
Okay.
Slight into wind aileron, but there's hardly any wind today anyway, so I'm not getting too excited about that. Watching my airspeed. Airspeed's increasing, 35, 40 knots. Eventually we get to 50, just take the weight off the nose wheel, and that's all I'm doing, taking the weight off. And at 60 knots, it's got airborne all of its own. I'm not doing anything now other than holding that attitude there, yeah?
Okay.
And it's accelerating steadily to 70 knots. The nose is pitching up a bit, so I'm just correcting slightly, holding that attitude to keep 70 knots. I'm not doing anything at the moment other than getting away from the ground with my wings level, 70 knots. 100 feet, all's good. Check my flaps are up, my engine temperatures and pressures are good. The radio, I'm setting this frequency. Altimeter, I'm keeping this pressure setting, and landing light is already on. At 500 feet, I should start a turn, but because there's lots of property, I'm just going to have a good look out, and I'm going to start a gentle climbing turn. Look at that, 15 degrees angle of bank, 70 knots is what I'm looking for. And I should have pointed out there's a point on the horizon over there. There's little masts I know, just to the left of the smoke there.
Okay.
Which I'm going to aim towards as my crosswind heading. I'm not too fussed about the accuracy of it, but I am now going to start to look over my wing. And as I do, I can see I'm slightly off. I'm going to go slightly further to the left, yeah? What I do know is Tollerton down here, I want to turn just inside Tollerton. So I'm a good look to check how it's coming in downwind. And I'm going to keep the turn coming round. 750 feet, still climbing. So I'm going to do 15 degrees angle of bank in the climbing and descending turns, yeah? Okay. There's Cockgrave. There's Clipston Woods. I'm going to aim down the middle of them. We'll talk later about how you judge it if you're at a different airfield, yeah?
Okay.
Levelling out at 800 feet. Once I've got 90 knots, power back to 2300. It's roughly halfway. I'm not going to sweat it. It's about there, yeah?
Okay.
I'm well out of trim, so I'm going to take the opportunity to trim. Oh, that's a lot nicer. Yeah? Right, just check how the wing is doing, running along the runway. That's pretty good. Put out my call.
Golf November, ready for backtrack.
Mixing surface green light and variable.
Golf Papa November, backtracking.
That's why I don't say backtracking.
Golf Sierra X-ray over at the waterfall, it's a command to descend on the
Right,
first
so
speed.
there's a lot of chatter going on, so I'm going to forget my call for a minute. Brakes, undercarriage, mixture, fuel. I'm going to stay in this tank. I've got plenty to go around. Flaps, let's set one stage, check them in the white arc, one stage of flap, check keeping the same attitude, trimming. Yeah, I've gone up 100 feet there. Ooh, that's terrible flying, Paul. Yeah, flaps, flight instruments, harness, check your harness, hatches are good, and landing light is already on. Golf Romeo Charlie, late downwind. Yeah, so I didn't get the call in. I'm not letting my communications control what I do.
Yes.
I've got Radcliffe on Trent over here. I'm going to aim just to the right of that. It takes me over the edge of Cotgrave. There's a church just in here somewhere that I want to be going over the top of. That's good. Rolled out, wings level, set 1800 RPM on here. Yeah. Yeah. And then 70 knots. So I'm going to keep the nose up as the speed washes back. I'm just going to take the opportunity to trim it out to 70 knots. Yeah. Checking no one's coming in on final approach. Yeah. This is all good. I'm looking at my runway, I'm looking at my touchdown point, and now I'm going to get fixated on my touchdown point and my speed. Touchdown point, speed. Still slightly fast, so raise the nose a bit and trim back, yeah? Touchdown point, speed. Those caravans there, about 250 feet on final approach. So I'm going to start that tail. I'm 700, I'm going to want to use a bit more height, so I'm going to take a couple hundred RPM off. And that's the way I do it, in increments of 200 RPM. I've started my final turn, 15 degrees angular bank, no more, no less than 70 knots. Dead simple, yeah?
Yeah.
I want to be 250 over those caravans. I'm going to be well high, so I'm going to take another 200 RPM off, yeah? And I'm going to put my carb heat on as well. Should have been on earlier. That's looking too high, yeah? That's not a great demo, and I'm too fast. Another stage of flap, should have had one on base leg and another one on final approach. 70 knots, I'm too fast. Oh, it's a terrible demo. So I'm too high and I'm too fast.
Golf Sierra X-ray downwind, 27 left.
5 knots too fast, 5 knots and too high. Golf Romeo Charlie, final. I'm on the centre line though, yeah? Can you see the symmetry of the runway?
Yes.
It's nice to get something right, isn't it? It's too high, so I've got next to no power on here, yeah? As we come in, I just want to set a landing attitude and I'm holding it, yeah? If I haven't touched down by the intersection, I go around, yeah?
Okay.
Flaps down on the runway, full power, 60 knots. It's wanting to get airborne, I'm just going to let it get airborne, yeah? We know what the attitude is for the climb, it's there. And I'm having to pull quite a lot because I was really badly trimmed, or I was well trimmed on the final approach, but it was for a glide final, yeah?
Yeah.
But I know that attitude, whether I'm having to push or pull, is the attitude I want to keep. And I'm just concentrating on keeping that attitude. It's giving me 75 knots, so I'm going to raise the nose. 200 feet, now I can drop my hand, I can trim it all out. Oh, that's a lot easier, yeah? Still going a bit fast, the nose a bit higher. Ignore that. And again, 200 feet, flaps are up, engine T's and P's are good, radio's stainless frequency, altimeter staying in the setting, and landing light is already on. And then let's go around again. So, good look out, pick a feature on the distance, I've got something. Start my gentle turn, 15 degrees angular bank. And when we get onto downwind, I'm going to hand over control to yourself. Yeah?
Okay.
There's my feature on downwind. It's just there. So I roll my wings level. Start to have a look out. That's not a bad heading for crosswind.
Golf Sierra X-ray.
Approaching 800 feet. We've got a bit more energy this time.
Light variable.
Levelling out at 800 feet. I want to turn just inside Tollerton. Level turn now, so it's 30 degrees angular bank. If I was climbing, we'd be limited to...
Golf Papa November, clear of the circuit to the north, see you later.
There's Cotgrave, there's Clipston Woods.
Right back, don't get too wet.
I'm going to roll out in the middle of them. 90 knots I've got already.
Get wet,
some
Richard.
power somewhere around about there. Make sure it's in trim. Golf Romeo Charlie, downwind.
Charlie.
You have control.
I have control.
800 feet on a good heading. So next thing, checks.
Pump pitch, brakes are off. Undercarriage is down. Mixture is rich. Fuel is on the right tank and we've got enough. Instruments are all indicating okay. Instruments T, temperature and pressures in the... No. Oh, dear.
Don't worry about it. One of the key things we need
Flaps.
to remember is our flaps. We're too fast to apply flaps. So let's lose a bit of power.
Yes.
That's good, well done. Your nose will drop, so keep your nose up.
Okay.
Might need to trim back a little bit. And when we're in the yellow white arc, apply flap. Now remember, we'll balloon up, so keep your nose down. There you go, ballooning. Oh, well, you did better than I did. Start your turn onto base. So now pick a feature. There's some windmills or something. Turn onto those. 30-degree angular bank turn. 800 feet. A little bit of back pressure to stop us dropping. 30-degree angular bank turn. I'm helping you on the angular bank now.
Okay.
About there, yep.
Yes.
800 feet. Bit of back pressure to stop us from dropping. Roll the wings level there. Set another stage of flap.
And I'd like to take fuel up for me.
And trim for 70 knots. Keep the nose up. You want to have a datum of 1800 RPM, so you're on your datum, that's good. Where are caravans? They're in there, that's good. Hand off the trimmer, let's not get too fixated on the trimmer. You're a bit like me, you're going to be a bit high, so I get a bit of power off now. So take it off in chunks of 200 RPM.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll do. 70 knots you on. Lower the nose a bit. That's good. It doesn't want to come down really, does it?
No.
Okay, let's start a turn onto final. 15 degrees angular bank. No one's seen on final approach. 15 degrees angular bank. 70 knots or more. We're still going to be way too high. We want to be 250 over those caravans. We've got to lose 50 feet. So let's get carpet on and power off a bit more. That's it. That's nice. That's a good bit of call out. Golf Romeo Charlie final. That's nice. Sinking down. We're a little bit too high, but we're sinking nicely. Final stage of flap can go on. That'll help us out. Good. 70 knots now. Keep your 70 knots. Trim if you need to. Trim, trim, trim. Nicely done. That's nice. Ever so slightly high on the approach. Drifting left. I can see the shape of the runway changing. Just drift to the right. 65 knots. Watch your power. That's it. Watch your power. You're going to go in the undershoot. That's it. Power on. Power on. Right, now look to the end of the runway. I have control. Look to the end of the runway and flare. Just hold the landing attitude. Follow me if you're under control. Hold the landing attitude, yep. It can't help but just land nicely like that, yeah?
Okay.
I'm raising the flaps on the ground. Full power, carpet's off. Then I'm looking at whether I should let it get airborne. 50 knots, 60 knots, let's get airborne. Wee-ha-hoo. Up it goes, yep.
Yes.
So I've still got 65 knots, so I can get the nose a bit higher. It's got lots of energy, hasn't it? Nice cold air, nice and dense, lots of energy in the engine today. I'm well out of trim, I'm pulling back really quite hard, yeah? If I let go, yeah.
Yes.
So I'm pulling back quite hard, but I'm not worrying about anything. So I've got 200 feet, and at that point I can trust myself to drop my hand, trim it out, check that the flaps are up, check. Engine T's and P's are good. Radio settings frequency, altimeter staying on the setting, and landing light is already on. Starting a gentle turn. Onto that same feature, there's a little bit of light from the cloud over there, that's what I'm using. From the end of that ridge, yeah, left hand side of that ridge over there. 70 knots, and then I'll hand over to control to you. Once we're level, so that's my crosswind. Looking at the runway now, it's not bad, we'll go with that. 70 knots, in the crosswind, 600 feet, you have control.
I have control.
Gets busy, doesn't it?
It does.
You'll find there's a tipping point at which you find yourself going quicker than the aircraft. You want to turn over the side of Tollerton, so start a gentle turn there. Because you're climbing, it's 15 degrees angular bank. Gentle turn, that's about 20. You want 15 about there, that's it. You know your features, Cotgrave, Clipston Woods, right down the middle. 800 feet, let's level out now. Lower the nose, let it accelerate to 90. Don't worry about trimming it now, sort all that out once you're still going up, you're 900 feet, lower the nose. Once you've got 90 knots, let's ease off on that power. Yeah. Let's give them a radio call. You're turning in towards the runway, let's keep turning in, pointing there.
Golf Romeo Charlie downwind.
Charlie.
You're 100 feet high, so you control the plane. You want to go down, yeah. That's it, that's 800 feet. Now set your level flight attitude. Yeah, that's nice. Brakes,
So-
undercarriage, mixture, fuel, sufficient to go around. Flaps, flight instruments, harness, hatches, landing light. We'll do flaps in a second.
Okay.
Yeah, a bit fast, let's lose a bit of speed. Power back, nose up, trim. There's the church in the edge of Cotgrave we want to go over.
Okay.
You're in the white arc now, so you can deploy one stage of flap. Go, let's start the turn. That's it, nicely done. 30-degree angular bank for a level turn, so let's get a bit more angular bank for a level turn. A little bit of back pressure in your turn, stop you from descending, that's it. And your power's come back already, so no power change, you're already at 1800 RPM, yep.
Yes.
Trim for 70, good heading, there's my touchdown point, there's my speed, 10 knots too high, let it come off. Hand off the trimmer now, don't want to do too much trimming, a bit excessive, yeah, doesn't want to lose it. Let's set another stage of flap, that'll help us. We're starting to get into drag flap, that'll help get the speed back. There's 70 knots, let the nose drop to keep 70 knots and trim. You're doing 68, no less than 70. Lower the nose, trim, hand off the trimmer, too much time on the trimmer. Right, let's have a little look. What height are we doing? 800 feet, way too high. Let's get a whack load of power off, that's it. No unseen on final approach, keep 70 knots, 70 knots, lower the nose for 70. Don't fixate on it, just set an attitude for 70 knots, that's it. Start your turn. Yeah, that's it. Fly an attitude, don't fly an instrument. That's it. That's nice. So now you're doing 5 knots too much, so you can raise the nose a little bit, but don't worry about it too much. You're in the final turn, and I'd rather you were slightly fast and too slow. You're rolling out in final. You're going to want to go over those things at 250. You're at 400, so let's lose a bit more height. Full stage of flap. That's it. Look at that, 72 knots, final approach, full flap set. Go for him with Charlie, final. We are sinking a bit, so let's just catch it with a bit of power. That's a much better, that's about just over 3 degrees, so we could be slightly shallower if we wanted to, but that's nice, yeah? That's very nice. Symmetrical, on the centre line. Your numbers are staying in the same point on the screen. They're not going up, they're not going down. That means you're going to land on them. You can't help but land on them. Sinking a little bit now, so a little bit of power on. The shape's getting a bit flat, that's it. Now the shape's coming back, and get the power back down again. Now approaching, look to the far end of the runway, power off.
Power off.
Set a landing attitude gently, holding it, holding it, holding it. Can't help but land like a greased pudding. There we go. Oh, full power on, I'm going to go one more. Okay, follow me through on the controls, I have control.
You have control.
60 knots, it wants to get airborne. I'm just going to take the weight off the nose wheel, and then I'm going to raise the nose as well for a climb. We know it's about there. Yeehaw. Does alright, doesn't it? On a cold day, it's got loads of power, this thing. I'm climbing at 60 knots, that's fine, that's good. I'm getting away from the ground, 100 feet. I'm just getting away from the ground, not doing anything else. I'm badly out of trim again, but I'm not worrying about that. 200 feet, I can start to think about it. First of all, let's get that off there. That's a big chunk of trim off. I'll let the nose drop slightly to accelerate to 70. Flaps are up. Engine temperatures are good. Radios, altimeter and landing light are all as they were. There's a smoke, 15 degrees angle of attack, angular bank, and we'll land off this one, yeah?
Okay. You okay, Amelia?
Yeah.
There's my smoke. I'm going to roll my wings level at that, and now I can start to have a good look around. 600 feet, good heading. 70 knots, slightly fast. 700 feet. You have control.
I have control.
775, 800, just roll level there. Oh, that's nice. That was a very nice approach, that last one. So you're 1,000 feet, you control the plane, let's go down, that's it. I'm sure Amelia won't mind floating for a few minutes. There you go, there's 800 feet, trim it out, don't spend too much time on that trimmer, that's it.
Okay,
You're
brakes.
better off trimming, dropping your hand, doing a bit more, yeah?
Okay, so brakes are off, undercarriage is down, mixture is rich, flaps,
Fuel,
we can't do
flaps.
one, we can do one actually because
Yes,
we're in the wide.
go for it. Fuel, flaps. Fuel sufficient to go around, flaps, flight instruments, it's really your heading you're interested in. It seems to be crazy way out at the minute. It's east towards 1, 2, move it around, that's it. Well, let's leave it at that now. Right, there's your church, you want to start your turn now.
Okay.
Fuel flaps, flight instruments, harness, hatches and landing light is already on. All okay in the back?
Yeah.
Cool. There's Radcliffe, isn't it?
Yes.
Let's go towards the right-hand edge of that. That's a nice heading. That's good.
So second stage
Second
of
stage
flaps.
of flaps. Power back to 1800. A little bit more. Well, I think it probably needs to go back to 1600, doesn't it? And let it keep it level until you got 70. Trimming back to 70, and then let it nose drop to keep 70. Yeah. Keep your eyes moving around. Is there anyone coming on final approach? Can you see a touchdown point and your speed? Touchdown point, speed. Your eyes should be going between your instrument here and your speed. Don't worry about that now, you've checked it.
Okay.
Touchdown point, speed. Slightly lower your speed, lower your nose. Yeah? Touchdown, don't worry about that side anymore. I just want you to fixate on these two things.
Your radio, Golf Sierra X-ray, taxi for the pumps back to the hangar.
Very nice. Very nice indeed. Good 70 knots, look at that. Where's this? Yeah, this is going to be a good one. Let's start your turn to go over those caravans. Don't let speed go below 70 though, yeah? Be quite meticulous with that. Knots, that's good. Now, if we'd been really good pilots, we would have changed the fuel tank at some point, but let's not worry about that. That's beautifully on the centre line. Can you see the symmetry of that runway? And we're 250, 200 going. That's a nice approach, yeah? Okay. Let's get back to our date and power setting, 1800, and get full flap on as well, yeah? That's it. That's good. Let's see how that does for us, yeah? Crazy people riding horses on the approach to a runway. Slightly drifting to the left, you can just see it starting to go. That's it, it's perfect, that's perfect there. Right, now we're starting to get a little bit too high, so we just ease off to increase our rated set. Not too much, very small changes at this point. 65 is a little bit low, so you're going to start to sink, so power on. Big boost of power if you need it, and then power off, yeah? Okay. Let it come down, you're in control, look to the end of the runway, one hand on the throttle, one hand on the control column, set the landing attitude, grease it on, nicely done. Would have been better on the centre line, but I'm not going to lose any points at that point for that one. Let it run its speed off, you're steering it with the wheels, yeah? Yes. And then once, look at your wingtip, you're going quite fast, so gently on the brakes, I'm with you on the brakes now, yeah? Okay. Look at your wing speed, look at your wingtip. When it's under control, then you can squeeze on the rudder and come off the runway, yeah? Okay. If you're going too fast, go down the far end and taxi off the far end. There's no point in wing tipping and doing all sorts of exciting things. Cross the line, the yellow line. I think it's just been refueled, isn't it? I'm not going to take it in. Oh, and I'm going to take it up anyway, right.